Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm going to be going over the KNS Precision Plastic Delete Kit for the IWI Galil Ace 22, or also known as the Rock and Lock 556. I don't really expect that this is going to be much different than any of the other plastic delete kit install videos that are out there. I know when I was searching for them, I didn't see one specifically for the 556 Rock and Lock version. So for anybody that's searching for that one in particular, that's the whole point of making this video. For anybody who doesn't know, the Rock and Lock version of these are technically a Gen 1. So if you do order one of these, I know you'll go on the internet and you're going to find information, pretty much every link you go to that says that this plastic delete kit is only good for the 762x39 and 545x39 versions, and you won't find any of them that say that it's for 556. So it will work for 556, but only for the Gen 1. And for the Rock and Lock version, they did only make Gen 1 versions in 556. So just make sure that when you order one, again, it is for the Gen 1, but it will be for the one that says it's for 762x39 and 545x39. Also along the way, due to disassembly, I'm going to show you a couple little tricks that I've picked up along the way. Some of them are already somewhat well known, but I'm still going to go ahead and include them into the video. As of January 2025, I did notice that KNS Precision does have a new version of the plastic delete. It's called like the winter version, I believe. And basically what you get is this trigger guard, instead of being cut at an angle like this, it's more squared off. The reason I decided to go with this version is because I felt it'll give you better access to the mag release here. So I like the way it looked as well. I've never had a problem with getting my finger in a trigger area, even when you're dealing with AR-15s. The standard USGI one, it's still not an issue for me. So having access, quick access, full access to that magazine release was the main reason why I went with this one. So up front, like I said, I mentioned a couple little tricks that I've picked up along the way, and what those tricks are going to be is removal and reinstallation of the top cover, because I do see lots of people struggling with this in the internet forums. And then I'm also going to show you how to adjust the stiffness of the safety switch. Now, I am going to go ahead and say now that when I did this before, it was on my Gen 2 556, and I know the safety is a little bit different, so it might not work, but I kind of think that it will. So first off, with the top cover, so IWI makes these top covers very, very stiff for the whole purposes of ensuring that the optic rail on the top cover maintains zero when you put it on. So you got a dovetail up front, you have a very tight cover fit on the back. It looks like standard AK-47, where you just go ahead and push this in and pop off the top cover. And where people, I think, run into a little bit of trouble is they try fighting the release and trying to wiggle off the top cover. So really what you need to do is get something like a flathead screwdriver here, push it in and down like so. Then you don't have to fight that. You've cleared it. You got room for the top cover to go ahead and break free. And then once you do, just grab it and wiggle it from side to side, and it pops off just like so. Now, going back into the reinstallation, all you got to do is make sure that the front there picks up the dovetail in the front of the gas tube. Once you get that into place, lined up evenly on the sides, you don't have too much hanging off one side and too much hanging off the other. Get it lined up, dovetails in there, and give it the old karate chop. So you'll notice that I went ahead and left the guide rod recessed down below the way that I pushed it in when I removed the top cover. If you were breaking down the gun and putting it back together, you want to do the same thing. So once you do that little karate chop, it gets it down at the position of where you need it to be. And then all you have to simply do, charge the handle, and it'll pop into place. All right, so now that we got the top cover off, we're going to go ahead and pull out the recoil guide rod. I always turn it to the side, 90 degrees, sorry. Pull that out so you're not bending that. Go ahead and pull out your carrier along with the gas tube. Go ahead and set those aside. From here, we're going to go towards removing the two screws. So the screws that hold this on, you do have one that's underneath here in this grip. Inside the grip, you're going to flip this cover off, and then as you see, you also have one right here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with the forward screw. So from experience on my Gen 2 Galil, the screws are very, very tight. Now, I never removed this one. I might not even have the same one on the Gen 2, but I know the grip screw was super tight from the factory, and I've seen also other disassembly videos where the screws are also very tight. So most likely, first off, you want to make sure that you get the appropriate size screw handle. Give it a little tweak. Nope, sure enough, it's not going to grab. So you're going to want to go ahead and grab yourself a adjustable wrench to give you a little bit of leverage to break that loose. So give yourself some downward pressure and just twist it loose. See lots of dried Loctite coming out of there. Go ahead and put that somewhere in my little small parts tray. Now when it comes to doing the rear screw, you pop this cover off. This back here is the hinge. Pop that off, and so you see down here another grip screw. Now forehead, before you go ahead and loosen this up, I do want to show you that what you're going to be looking at, or what that screw attaches to, is right there. You can kind of see the outline of it right here. And that, while not only being the nut for your grip screw, it is also the base or the anchor for your left-hand side safety over here. So when you break that loose, this is going to come loose, but no worries, that's how it's supposed to go. So moving on to the grip screw, I suspect it's going to be the same way as it was with the forward screw, and it's going to be very tight. There we go. Super, super tight, just like the Gen 2. All right, grip screw fell out. Now you can see here, this assembly, get my light. You have your linkage for your right-hand side safety and for your left-hand side safety. So go ahead and rotate your safety up and out. So I do want to note that you are going to want to go ahead and close your grip cover just so you don't accidentally break the thing off. It is only plastic. So getting back to the safety, rotate it up and out and through the keyway. Simple enough. And actually, before, wiggle out that anchor that is the T-nut screw, and then the left-hand side safety will fall right out the bottom. So we'll put those all aside. And from there, your old OEM plastic grip falls right off. All right, so I don't really believe that anybody is getting the plastic delete kit in order to save weight. It's really mostly just for looks. But since I have a scale here and have all the parts, let's go ahead and weigh them. So with the old plastic, and I guess we have to throw the screw on there too. We've got 5.9 ounces. And taking the plastic delete kit, taking the grip screw, and then the KNS Galil style grip, 5.6. So 0.3 of an ounce savings. All right, so talking about trick or tip number one, when it comes to the safety. This safety from Galil on the Ace, the tension, you see, you put it through the keyhole, and then these notches that you see in the receiver, you have this spring clip right here. And the spring clip has that little nipple on it. You can see it bends, it gives tension. That's what makes your safety feel as stiff as it does. So, with a typical AK, the old trick is you have the old lever that you can just bend it out or press it in to give it more tension. You can't do it with the Galil, but what you can do is if you, in my case, because it is very stiff, and if, when you want to check this and you're making adjustments, put your safety back in to the keyway, find the notch in the receiver that which it sits in. You're going to have to give it some inward pressure to push back the receiver. And once it sits, you're going to get an idea of how stiff it is or isn't. Now, mine is very stiff. It was very stiff on my Gen 2, and I made an adjustment to it. And this is what I did to make an adjustment to it. So when you look at the safety here, you can see it pressing up. What I want to try to effectively do is bend this in, bend it on the radius here to try to reduce some of the pressure that it's plying to the receiver and making it so stiff. So I'm going to take this little derail bar that I have here made out of aluminum. I'm going to take my bench block to give me some stability. And I'm going to go ahead, try to do this as graciously as possible. As you can see there, I knocked it in quite a bit. Now it may be a little too much, and that's okay because it's just a little spring clip, because if it's too much, I could just bend it back out. So you stick it back through the keyway, push it in. I mean, honestly, I really like how that feels. Definitely a lot easier. You saw me struggling with it before, especially for me because I'm a lefty. So as a lefty, I activate the left hand safety, and I activate it with the nub of the inside of my knuckle here. So having it easier is the better. The indentations keep it from being able to just loosely fall, but definitely a lot better than how it felt before. So little trick. All right, so now taking a look at the components of the plastic delete kit. Obviously the plastic delete kit slides over. You want to make sure that the ears of the plastic delete kit are on each side of the safety. And one of the key things that you want to make sure that you keep straight here, and they include a big stop sign here, right, is that you want to make sure, and it comes with two different screws. Obviously, the plastic delete kit, you have your grip screw, you have the screw that's going to secure the plastic delete kit to your receiver, and then you have the new, technically what's going to be the T-nut. It's going to replace your old one. The warning on here is to ensure that you don't mix these two screws up. One of the ways I think that you can help yourself out and make sure you don't mix those up is this screw comes already installed, the grip screw. It's installed into the plastic delete kit. Just go ahead and leave that in to ensure that you don't accidentally use that screw up here and then the stainless screw down for the grip. Something else that I want to kind of show you here is, again, how the replacement anchor that is going to replace your original one that came in here, how this is all going to go together. So this is going to sit down inside your receiver like so. This nub is going to pick up the lower hole of your left side safety. Once you insert your right hand side safety, the lower pin is going to engage the arm of the left hand safety, whereas the longer top pin is going to engage the hole that's in the other side of the receiver. So this is all how it relates together. All right, so when you get ready to go ahead and reinstall your safeties and get everything locked down with the KNS plastic delete, go ahead and get your right hand side safety started. Just get it in the keyway. You're going to get your left hand side safety. Go ahead and insert it through the hole. So again, this upper hole needs to pick up the shorter nub. So if you've never done this before, it can be a little bit frustrating, to say the least. One of the things that I've done is kind of laid it on its side. So the linkage, because it wants to flop around, let gravity work for you. You can see I finally captured the little control arm into the bottom shorter nub, and now I can go ahead and line up the longer nub into the hole that's in the receiver. It is definitely can be a little bit challenging, but once you get it in and you catch the arm onto the lower shoulder bar and you push the safety into position, now you can move on to inserting the new KNS anchor. This is going to be what you're going to tighten the bolt. It's going to secure this down and secure the plastic delete kit onto the receiver. So this is the other nub, this shorter one here, and this needs to pick up this hole right here. So you definitely want to make sure that you're holding your safety in from the opposite side. This can only go in one way. While holding your safety in, this one there's a little bit more wiggle room to get in there. The easiest thing to do is to lay that new nut down and flat against the receiver, so at least you have one stable surface, and then just move around the safety lever until you can get the hole to pick up the nub. All right, from there on forward, I'm going to go ahead and take your plastic delete kit, slide it on and over, make sure that it is seated firmly against the bottom of your receiver. We're going to go ahead and take the stainless nut or stainless screw. Now, I'm not going to install this right now because I'm still going to do the trigger job on this, but you're going to use a 3/16 Allen key. You're going to go ahead and get that tightened down. Now, the instructions on KNS tell you to use a medium thread locker. Again, since I'm not doing this permanent right now, I'm not going to go ahead and do that. But you can see there is a little bit of wiggle room. The hole that's in that new anchor is slotted, probably to make up for tolerance stack up. So you just want to make sure that the plastic delete butts up against the back of this the mag release. Now, they don't give you a torque measurement on this as far as like how much you should torque it down to. I'm sure if you went and looked it up, you could find the measurement for the diameter of the screw, but that's really about it. You see that nice smooth safety? A heck of a lot easier. Now, if I were going to go forward and install the KNS grip, go ahead and remove this. Now they give you a screw. Now that the KNS kit or plastic delete kit is installed, they're going to give you a screw. Now this is going to take any AR grip, which in this case I got the Galil grip. The Galil grip does also come with a screw along with a star washer. One of the things that I've always done, because trying to look down in that hole can be a little bit of a challenge, while you're trying to finagle the grip on, is I'll go ahead and get the screw started, and boom, it's installed. Do the same procedure for any AR pistol grip, but definitely looks a lot cooler without that big old hunk of plastic on there, and that safety definitely feels a lot better and more maneuverable. I will say it does allow for a little bit of over travel now, but I don't mind that. I'd rather be able to flick it on faster. Being, again, you know, if you're right-handed, it's one thing, but me being a lefty, I am using the nub of my finger to push that forward. So, you know, definitely want that to engage a lot more easy. You know, one of the benefits that I want to add and mention about the plastic delete kit is that it makes magazine insertions just so much cleaner. When I was looking into getting this rifle, I was watching the review done by 1911 Syndicate, and they were mentioning on there about, you know, the Galil, even though it's a bit of a variant of the AK or AKM, it's, you know, with the rock and lock, it is almost hard to screw up the mag insertion. You know, with AKs, it's you have to have a little bit of a concentration. I'm sure some of those guys that are a lot more used to using AKs might argue with me, but I did notice that with the OEM plastic on here, you know, I could tell, yeah, it was a lot easier doing mag insertions, but there was still a little bit of a room for a fumble, and I think it has to do with the plastic funnel that overhangs. You can kind of misalign it a little bit, but with that gone, it definitely does make for a smoother mag insertion. That about wraps up the plastic delete KNS plastic delete kit install for the IWI Galil Ace Rock and Lock version, the 5.56. Don't know how much different it is from a 7.62 by 3.9. You can have an empty magazine here. I mean, that just looks a heck of a lot cooler. So hope that helped you guys out. Coming up next, and the reason why I wasn't installing the KNS kit permanently is because I'm going to go ahead and install the Dissonant Arms ALG trigger into this. It's a little follow-up or a video to the one that I made 3 years ago. It'd be made in several parts. We'll see how much different it is from doing a Gen 2. If you're interested in that video, I'll drop a link in below. Hope this helps some of you guys out. Please like the video, subscribe, share it. It really helps the channel out. I really appreciate all of you watchers. So see you in the next one.